Have you got, can you hear yourself? Ah.
Okay. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me? Wow. Hello? Hello? Nope. They still can't hear me. What is going on? No sound effects. Okay. Oh. We don't want that. We don't want that. No. I don't want that. Give me the default. Check. Video source, audio output, default. Check. 1, 2. Hi. You hear me, Billy Joe? Check. 1, 2. All right, we're back. Okay. All right. We got it. We figured it out. So Billy Joe can hear me. I hope Drew can hear me as well. So, all right, let's run through that real quick. Okay. I figured it out. Okay. All right. All that testing, and it finally worked. Okay. All right. Okie doke. There's Lee. Here's me. Hi. Unfiltered podcast, take 3. All right. Welcome to episode 2, season 2, episode 7. Jeez Louise, we are just scrambled brain. But we're back at it. It's okay. You can make fun of me a little bit in the comments. But hey, I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the institution, Texas Panhandle sports broadcasting legend, Lee Baker. Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here finally.
Yeah, it's good to have you. So where should we start? I mean, I know we talked about a little bit about a little bit about playoff season. Okay. How about we just do this? We start from square one here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a Hoosier, born and bred, but I'm a naturalized Texan, I like to think, since I've lived here since 1983. So I'll go from there. Anyway,
it's
worked 2.5 years in New Mexico in TV, came to Amarillo. I worked 4.5 years at Channel 10, and I worked 37 at Channel 7 before I was asked to leave.
Okay.
and kicked to the curb and kicked into retirement. So
Oh, yeah.
whatever that comes out to, what does that come out to? 42 years, something
Yeah,
like that.
42 years. Yeah. All right, Drew, welcome back. Billy, good to see you. But yeah, 42 years. My goodness, like
I'm old.
hey, I wasn't gonna say it. I was gonna say experienced, but yeah, like, oh man. What were we talking about? Because like we were listening to the Sod Poodles, and they were already up like 6-0 on Midland. Yeah.
I just turned on my phone for a second. It's 8-0 now, and they're
Oh
only in
my
the fourth
gosh.
inning. Yeah.
Dang. Jeez
No, we
Louise.
can talk about anything.
We can talk about
But I will
anything. It's a
say this.
hang.
I brought a note with me because today's my International Sports Day.
Ooh. Okay.
Overnight I recorded a Japanese baseball game,
Okay.
the Rakuten Golden Eagles and the SoftBank Hawks.
Okay.
And then I also recorded overnight an Australian rules football game, the Sydney Swans and the Melbourne Demons. And then I made a point of not watching this, so I don't know what happened.
Okay.
But I got up this morning early. I set my recorder to record Manchester United and Liverpool in the Premier League. So when we get done with all this, I've got a lot of stuff to watch.
You do.
I should say on a personal note, the only reason I didn't watch any of these is I have a daughter who's in the hospital. So I had to go visit her this morning. I spent a couple hours there. Yeah. So I've got all this ready to go.
Gotcha.
Whenever we get done.
Whenever we get done. Okay. All righty. Well,
so you know all those teams, right?
I do. I know my Japanese baseball teams. My favorite is the Hanshin Tigers out of Osaka. They're kind of like the Boston Red Sox of the Nippon League. They're also known for the curse of the Colonel because they went crazy because Randy Bass, he was like one of their best players they ever had, and he was swatting home runs left and right. Even though he was like an MLB reject, he took over Japan, and then they didn't have anything that was like Randy Bass, so they took Colonel Sanders and they threw him in the river.
They finally fished him out 2 years ago.
They fished him out a few years ago.
They won again.
And they started winning. So, and Drew's praying for your daughter, Lee. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm also familiar with Australian rules football. I actually shot photos of a game in Des Moines. It was like in this random park, and like the team's name was the Des Moines Roosters. Yeah.
I think there's a league, like I Googled it one time just out of curiosity, and I guess there are places in America where they play it. I saw where even in Arkansas they play it somewhere, but I was going, who knew? Because
who knew?
You're not old enough to remember this, but when ESPN first started, they had no sports. They showed darts and they showed Australian rules football in like 1979, 1980.
Oh my gosh.
They started acquiring. They showed a lot of bizarre stuff, and those were two of the ones they showed.
That was weird times for ESPN because they didn't have the licenses for anything yet.
They didn't have anything.
No.
But when Chris Berman, when they got on and they finally got into the NFL, that turned everything around.
Right. And that's what gave us like because like I got into sports journalism because of like Sports Center during the 90s. Like wake up every morning, it's Sports Center, and and it was highlights, and then it was Stuart Scott, it was Dan Patrick, it was Kenny Mayne, all those guys, and they all had different personalities to them. They let their personalities shine, and they were so good about working their personality into the highlights. I mean, Stuart Scott was probably the best of them, but and God rest his soul, like Stuart Scott was like, he was really good, but there has to be like kind of I feel like there's a method of the madness when you go over highlights, because you got to insert yourself a little bit, but you're the narrator. So, like everybody's got to like have a little saying. Like I think one kid freaked out and he had he came up with "boom goes the dynamite," and everybody was like, You know, everybody was in support of the kid, so everybody started saying "Boom goes the dynamite." So, did you have any sayings while you were working on highlights, or?
I well, I actually sort of stole one from someone I heard years ago when I was a kid, before mostly on radio. But
Yeah.
my home run call was the four H's. It's high, it's hard, it's handsome, it's history.
Ooh, nice. The four
That's
H's.
a good one, huh?
That is a good
Yeah,
one. That
yeah.
is a good one.
But when you're calling highlights, so when you're if you're doing it live, you got to be careful. Like if you're a radio guy and you're
Mm-hmm.
calling home runs, you better know that the ball is going out to do that. If you're calling highlights that you've already seen and you know what's happening, it's much easier to do. But like I would go record a Sod Poodles game, or even before them, the Dillas. You would know a home run, so you could make that call.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
remember
that's
that the
true.
four H's. You can lay that on somebody.
I think another one of my favorites is Keith Murphy. And I remember when like you announced that you were kind of pushed into retirement. Keith Murphy, who I knew through WHO, he commented on like on you having to go into retirement and everything. And I was like, I had a small world moment. I was like, whoa, like Lee Baker and Keith Murphy interacting. What's going on here?
Yeah,
But
that was interesting.
yeah, but one of his idioms when he was working highlights, it was like it's going deep, like he went with the deep voice and just deep. But yeah.
I think some guys sit in rooms and try to figure it out, but it's gotta come off natural, because if it sounds too canned or whatever, it doesn't work. So you gotta make
Right.
it part of whatever you do, and
Yeah.
it works for everybody. Or somebody could be like Vin Scully and just have a nice velvet tone to the game. Even though he wanted the Dodgers to win, he played it pretty straight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like, I mean, you talked about being on the radio, and I've interviewed, oh gosh, he was the longtime announcer for the Phoenix Suns. Gosh dang, I'm trying to remember his name. He was based in the Webster City area, and now I got to look him up because now he's gonna haunt my mind for like the rest of the show. It was Al McCoy. I interviewed him not too long ago. And he was the guy that came up with like Shazam and like a whole, like he got to like talk to like Charles Barkley and Kevin Johnson and Steve Nash, all those guys. And he was really interesting. He actually passed away a couple years ago, but when I got to talk to him, and like he was very businesslike when I talked to him. But he was like, he grew up listening to the radio. He grew up listening to Cubs games and White Sox games, like on his little farm in Williams, Iowa. Like Williams is like teeny tiny little town, and then somehow he stumbled into radio and never looked back.
I should tell you a funny story about that. Everybody in the Midwest is like that. When I got out of the Navy, I wasn't sure what I was going to go do, and I was working in a factory and I didn't like it, and I was going to go back to school. I sent away for the Harry Carey School of Sportscasting, and I got a cassette recorder, little cassettes, and you followed. Harry explained everything and how you did it and how to learn how to do stuff. So Harry Carey, actually, in the back of the Sporting News magazine I was reading one time, there was the Harry Carey School of Broadcasting.
Oh my gosh!
On video, on tape, audio tape.
Oh man.
Harry probably didn't really do much of that. He probably had somebody doing it for him.
Yeah, probably did like a lot of heavy lifting for him, but he lended his voice, or he just said, "Here's some bullet points like from me," and then just make it into something. But yeah, it's hard to believe how many people were inspired by Harry Carey and Vin Scully, Al McCoy. So many others. Like for me, it's like 90s Sports Center. Like that's where I kind of get, even though Lee, you already have like one up on me already, because like, I got a face for radio and I got a voice for, voice for print. So
a voice.
And if you think I'm bad, just check out Lee Passmore. No, I'm kidding. Oh, I have to pick on Passmore a little bit.
You better hope he's not watching.
I'll probably make that joke to him when I bring him on sometime. So yeah,
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Now you were waiting. Now people should know that you're back in the Texas Panhandle. You were here.
Yeah.
Left.
Yep. So I was in the Texas Panhandle from about 2007 to 2019. And then during that time, I went to school at West Texas A&M. I got through broadcast journalism. Never heard a voice for print. Thanks for joining us, Panda. And speaking of Panda, he's joining us next week for Unfiltered. Yeah, so I got out of broadcasting school at WT. I dabbled in a little bit of radio when I was at Iowa Central Community College. And there's a story behind that. You know how I got muted early and people couldn't hear me. And that happened to me when I was doing a live test. And I remember it was dead air, and that's the last thing you want on the radio, for a whole 10 seconds. And I'm at the board, I'm freaking out, cause I'm I'm probably like a 19-year-old kid, and I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? And one of the veteran GJs, one of the veteran students came in, pressed one of the buttons, and boom, I was on air.
Yeah, back.
And because of that, I missed my opportunity being a DJ, but I don't know. I have a better voice for podcasting, I suppose.
Nothing like being a DJ. I was a country DJ for a while.
Were you?
Yeah. In Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Ooh, nice.
And in Farmington, New Mexico, before I got into the TV thing of it. And I did sports broadcasting too on the radio stations, but yeah.
Nice.
Nice. In fact, I noticed the other day that, a couple different people have passed away, Johnny Paycheck and all that. And I was thinking about all the country music songs I'd played over the years that, I never really was a country music fan, but I became one. I played the music. I had to play the music all day long.
Yeah, you find the good stuff. No matter what sort of music genre you're gonna find yourself into, country. I find myself liking. You'll get a kick out of this. Alabama, 90s Alabama. I totally dig Alabama. A little bit of Garth Brooks. Little bit of George Strait, a little bit, and he just played in Lubbock not too long ago. But you just find things no matter the genre, you find a song that's oh, I really like this song. I could definitely listen to this. So
David Allan Coe just passed away, and I can remember playing. He didn't have many that would make it on the radio because of some of the language he used.
Oh.
There were a couple of them that I could play, and I was thinking, man, I remember back in the day playing his songs on the radio just because he was pretty much an outlaw. He didn't do much in Nashville. Well, it's pretty interesting being a DJ.
Well, that's the same way with Johnny Cash too. He was an outlaw. I mean, what's the music industry without outlaws? So
my favorite one, I was a big Hank Williams Jr. fan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I still am. I don't really have records, but I still have some CDs.
Mm-hmm.
We still use those, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have I don't have earbuds for my phone or whatever, so I still wear headphones when I go for a walk.
That's okay. Hey, I ain't judging. I think when I think of Hank Williams Jr., I just think of the Monday Night Football theme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that invented that, had him do that, made all kinds of money and got a big promotion.
Oh yeah.
Got a big promotion within ABC or the NFL, wherever it came from.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then they kicked him off because of politics.
Yeah. I don't know. Now, well, I grew up on Monday Night Football being the premier game of the week, and it was always the last one. And then once I got once I got into college, for the early years, Then it switched over to Sunday night, and I was like, it's never the same. Like, the NFL will never be the same.
I hate to keep going back in time, but this will
That's
date
okay.
how old I really am. But I cut my Monday night Russian language class where I was going to school to watch the first ever Monday night football game.
Oh, wow. Daggum.
It was tough to go to that Monday night class because everybody loved football. We always wanted to watch, and it coincided. I had like a 7 to 10 3-hour class, and that was Monday night football, 7 to 10 in the
Oh,
Midwest.
yeah. I remembered those night classes, and they were brutal.
I know.
Oh,
It was
man.
it was
It was an evening biology class at Iowa Central, and I was like, I ended up dropping it because I was like, I can't do it. Like, no. I couldn't do 8 o'clock classes. I couldn't do evening classes. So I was like, yeah, I got my set hours. And I made that happen at WT because like I didn't have like a great GPA at Iowa Central. I just kind of goofed around. You know, I was a young kid. And then
you transfer your credit? Did your credits transfer
it
to WT?
transferred a few of my credits over to WT when I went to
Okay.
WT. And I still took like 4 years to get out of WT. And when I started I was originally a history major. And then like I had this professor that was like, you're never going to get anywhere in life with your attitude. And you know, I can have a little bit of I can be a little rebellious, and I call spades a spade, you know. And I remember just being devastated after that because I was like, oh, I want to get into history. And then during that summer, I did some soul searching, and I was like taking a test, and they were like, you're suited to go into media. Like you would be best suited to media. And I met Trudy Hansen, Dr. Trudy Hansen. When I got to know her, like I really gained a lot of respect for her, but at the time I was just like, okay, all right, whatever. You know, she was like, well, do you want to get into like newspapers or do you want to get into radio? And I got into radio, and I was like, you know, radio's kind of, we'll see. And then, so she was like, well, there's there was electronic media or broadcast journalism. And I chose broadcast journalism because I was like, eventually I wanted to be on TV. And that's why I wanted to do while I was at Iowa Central. Like I wanted to go into radio and eventually get into TV. And I was like, well, and then I went upstairs and I met Dr. Butler Kane, who's now at North Alabama. He's doing really good. And I was like, hey, convince me in like 2 minutes. And he did that. Like he gave me like the 2-minute, hey, you know, we're looking for sports writers. You could definitely work as a sports writer. And I started off as working with the West Texas A&M women's soccer team. And then it was like the men's soccer team. And then I had a little bit of like, I covered a little bit of football. And I covered basketball and everything. And then it was off to the races. And I think by the time I was in my final semester at WT, I was already helping people out I was already helping out at the Amarillo Globe News. So I was ready to just get out the door. And by then I checked all the boxes. I was a sports editor, I was an assistant editor, and then I was interim, and then I was co-editor. By the way, when you're faced like between being like the head honcho or sharing the spot, just take it all for yourself. Be selfish. Like, because like being like a co-editor and having to share power with somebody else, it wasn't very fun.
Yeah.
Like, like that's what I've learned for leadership is just take ownership of it. And then, I got out of there, got into the Globe News. I started off taking phone calls from coaches.
That's great.
Sitting there on Friday night, eating pizza and sitting there sitting there at one of the computers and hammering in the box scores because the coaches would call in with the box scores.
There you go.
Yeah. And then I started writing quite a bit. And then, I mean, it's all downhill from there. All downhill from there. 10 year, like about, oh gosh, 10, 11 years later, now I'm in podcasting and I write a little bit for Kale.
Oh
It
yeah.
seems like Kale is like, he's the force that brings us all together. He's
Yes.
the glue that sticks us all together.
Well, yeah, I appreciate. We should mention Kale Steve from Press Pass
We
Sports.
should.
We should mention Kale,
Yeah.
and because he after I got kicked to the curb last year, he asked me if I wanted to do football games with him, and so I started doing the post game interviews
Mm-hmm.
for Press Pass Sports, which kept me in the loop, keeping him around all the coaches and so forth. But I didn't do basketball, and like right now, it's all the high school baseball, softball playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and WT women just won the LSC softball championship, I think. And
Regular season champs. Yeah.
regular season, yeah. And so it's a hectic time of the year, and I said, I don't want to do that. I'll do football. I can keep my hand in that. That's enough.
Heck yeah.
That's busy enough.
And I feel like the Panhandle always is underrated when it comes to producing really good players, because like this past year we had some really good players come through, or they're really coming up the ranks. I mean, we had Macon, like, what was it? Macon Reed Macon. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Reed Macon, like Case and Benton, like, who went over from quarterback to a slot receiver. Somehow Canyon won, even though they had, they were trying to figure out their way around with quarterbacks, and then Julian Reese, Deuce. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's a lot. Deuce is getting a lot of looks.
Yeah. It's a lot going on. It's fun. It's fun to be around, still be on the periphery of it. But I don't have to worry about getting up every day and calling 100 coaches to figure out what's going on and setting a timetable. I should mention that the gentleman who's still doing the sports, DJ Ezel, over at Channel 7 KVI TV, still does a great job.
Yeah,
He's
he still does.
Working himself like crazy, being a solo guy, but he's doing great and covering all the stuff. So kudos to him for that.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's a good segue, Lee. So, like, what do you think, from your perspective, during your 4 decades of being in television, what are the things that have, like, remained a constant, and what are some things that have changed? I know there's a lot more changes than constants, but from your perspective, what would they be?
I think obviously the changes would be the computer system. You were mentioning being on the phone to coaches. We used to have a system on our Friday Night Football where all the news, we had a large staff, all the news people, all the photographers, everybody involved would get a page, and that would be their job to call press boxes to get scores. Most press boxes had telephones, and they just kept calling, and we had a system where we had to go back into a separate room to put in the scores. Well, all that's changed now. Everything's on the internet. There's all kinds of apps that have all the scores, and you don't have to do that anymore. And that takes it's less people, but in technology wise, it's way different. I mean, I can remember packing up my typewriter and putting a computer screen in with a keyboard in front of me and figuring out what in the blazes am I going to do now, and how does this work? We all had classes in it, and when they came in and then they upgraded it numerous times, and then eventually we got into where, and Kale's really good at this. He can do it on his phone. I can't. I tried, but we got to a point where we had editors in our offices. We didn't have to go into an editing room to do anything. You could actually do it at your computer, which is way beyond what it was 40 years ago when you first started. I mean, we used to trade tapes with Lubbock on a bus. We'd send tapes to Lubbock on a bus, and they would send tapes on a bus to us, and we would just send them back and forth.
Oh my
and
gosh.
we wanted to do stuff from tech. Instead of driving down there, we would get tape sent to us on a bus, and we would return the favor if they needed something. Think about that.
Yeah, like that makes me think of like what was it, the coin toss? Like
Oh
it
yeah.
deciphered
Like,
how
how did
Amarillo
that
High
get
got into
frustrated?
playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That,
it would have been interesting to be like, yeah, we'll just make you in plain view at the gas station. We'll just trade tapes. But
yeah. A lot of times have done that. Oh, absolutely. That was a norm back then.
yeah, yeah. And then
Extreme.
even when I was in high school, and this is 20 years ago, they still had editing bays. Like you can go in and like because I job shadowed at KCCI in Des Moines and got to travel along with like Chris Nagus and um, there was a few other there was a few other people like I shadowed and they still had the editing bays and everything like where you go in and you got to go edit tape. That was
Yeah.
and now it's everything's on a computer, everything's through a program like
I
Adobe
just
Premiere and Final Cut
oh,
and yeah.
I just missed the film era because I had people tell me when I first got into the business, it was getting into videotape. And, but I had people tell me they have to go out and shoot film. It had to come back in and be taken somewhere where it could be developed, then brought to the TV
Oh
station
man.
and run through it and run and then put on the air that way. Imagine that.
Oh, I can't imagine. That's
That was,
so
that
many
was,
steps. It's crazy.
That's
Wow.
hard to imagine that, the steps involved in that process and to make the deadline to get it on the air for the news.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
A lot of that. I think,
Oh.
but the one thing that is constant is just, and from a journalistic perspective, is just talking to coaches and athletes.
Hmm.
I mean, that never changes. Doesn't matter if you're talking to them during the week, after the game, before the game. I really enjoyed, I have to say, by doing the 6 and 10 o'clock news, uh, I never got to see the end of games, very rarely. Only
Hmm.
if it was a playoff game on a weekend, Saturday or something, I would see the end of a game. So I never knew, you never knew what happened at the end of the game, and before having telephones in your hands where somebody would tweet out or send out a text of what happened. If you could get a score and it would be 17-16, and you wouldn't know that somebody scored a touchdown with 2 seconds to go because we weren't there. So
Right.
that the only thing I enjoyed last year when I worked when doing the interviews post game for Press Pass Sports was being able to go to the game, walk the sidelines for the entire game, and know the ebb and flow of the game, and be able to do what I hope was a decent interview with the winning coach afterwards, or
Yeah.
in some cases the losing coach even, depending on
Right.
the game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's different. And in fact, your buddy Lance Lannert used to always give us TV guys a hard time about, hey, you guys never know what's going on at the end of the game. You always just leave early. You get here, shoot 5-10 minutes, and leave. I go, yeah, that's what we do.
It's the nature of the beast. And I knew the struggle, so I never gave the TV people a hard time. I was just
Well,
like,
I
I
know.
was just
I
made sure to
didn't.
say hello and then make sure I see y'all. And I was like, yep, going to the next game. Which one are you going to? And, it's like, oh, well, like, let's say, like, for example, we're at Dick Bivens and then there's a game down at Happy State, Happy State Bank or Old
Yeah,
Kimbrough's Memorial Stadium. It's like, oh man, I gotta go. I gotta go
yeah,
down to Kimbrough. I gotta go catch like, Canyon and Dumas playing each other, and I gotta be able to catch that, and then head back to the studio, do all the editing, and get everything ready for the Friday night blitz. Yeah, like Friday nights they get hectic.
they're pretty crazy. I will
They
say that. I don't really miss that
no,
as much. It's
I
much easier to walk the sidelines and have Kale shoot me with his camera, and he literally could like shoot first half highlights, go to the car, get on his phone, edit them, and send them to. If he was helping a TV station, send them, and they'd have the first half highlights would be done. He'd be done with it by 8:15, 8:30.
yeah, yeah.
Fascinating.
I remember doing that. Like that was really cool. Like because I had to stop for I had to stop for a oh
That long?
it was a 6-man game in Lockney. It was like Miami and gosh dang it, not Cristobal. It was
Dayton.
what's it wasn't Jayton. Even though Jayton ended up winning state title, but yeah, like they were just like Kale was like, hey, I just need you to give me a few highlights and that's it. And I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. And I did that with my phone. And it ended up getting on with Clint Brakebill and Max Preston. And, somehow we got it all into, Channel 4. And it's crazy.
It's a whole lot different when you can stand there on the sideline, shoot it with your phone on a whatever K your phone is, and it's actually as good a video as a Sony camera on your shoulder. That's what's creepy about it.
That's what's
and you're
crazy.
Right down there.
Yeah. Even when I started in journalism, like that was like crazy. Like it's like, whoa, like and Kale was like, dude, check this out. And like he would do like little highlights. And that's how I learned how to do it. I always tell people I learned from the School of Steed. And Kale has produced, like, I always tell people like I was kind of the first student, but like Corin Davis and all of them, they were the best students. So,
well, it's just a technologically, it's way much different than it ever was. And you get one of those iPhone 17s with that camera that's in it, it's unbelievable what the video's like. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've got this lousy phone right here. It's like an iPhone 13, I think, 15, something low. Yeah. Anyway, it still shoots great video. And I would shoot, he would shoot, and I would shoot. And sometimes he would say, did you get that play? And I go, yeah. And he goes, send it to me. And I'd show it to him. And it actually was reasonable because I was so used to using a camera like this after all those years to be able to hold a phone in front of you and follow the play. You got to rework your brain to figure out how it's a different picture you're seeing.
Right.
Size wise.
Right. And I always feel like, like I love taking a page from like the TV people. Like I'm just like, where would I go if I was a TV person? I need to get that shot. Maybe the camera quality isn't as great. Like, I don't know, my phone, the cameras on my phone are halfway decent. But they can go on, like, I was like, okay, now, like, I was like, whoa, like, I actually caught that. Or sometimes, like, I completely whiff, and that's just the nature of the beast. But there's times where I catch everything, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, I can look back at this, and I can see who fumbled, and who picked up the fumble, and who ran it back, and it's unreal.
Everybody used to make fun of me as I got older. I didn't like getting run over on the sidelines with a TV camera, which has happened to me on a number of occasions. So I started going up top and shooting. And someone said to me, why are you up there? And I go, well, do you ever watch a football game? They don't take very many shots from ground level if you're watching an NFL game or even a college game. So I just always went up to the top. In fact, old Kimbrough used to have a wooden box atop the press box. Mm-hmm. You could literally get up like 5 stories. And I would stand up there and shoot. The camera was good enough to zoom all the way down to get beautiful video of the games. But even over at Dick Bivens and even at the new redone Kimbrough, mm-hmm. you can get great shots. When you're above the flow you're above the mat, and you can see the fumble. You can go back and you can follow the action better, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great being on. Don't get me wrong. The atmosphere on the sideline is great, but TV wise and picture wise, being above it is better for the video.
Right. Agreed. Like, and that's why like the NFL or the NCAA, like their highlights, they're never on the ground. They're always up top. Like, but they always have people down below just in case like there's a celebration or something, or they need to, like the pylon cams. And
I got wiped out. I can think of 3 times in my life I've got wiped out by being on the sidelines at a high school game. It was not very pleasant.
No.
Fortunately, I didn't really get hurt. And of course, your brain is so meant to think about this. You're thinking about yourself, but you're also thinking, I got to save this camera. So you're trying to keep yourself from getting wiped out, but you got to figure out a way to hang on to that camera and keep it on your body so that it doesn't blow up, and then you
Oh,
got to go back and explain that.
you're preaching to the choir there, because like whenever I had cameras in my hands, like I didn't care about me. I cared about the dang camera. I was just like, just don't break the camera. And
Yeah.
I've had camera lenses break on me. Like it's not pleasant, and they're not cheap like to replace. Like it oh man. But
I've told this story many years ago. I was in Childress for a football playoff game, and I just got absolutely blitzed by some linebacker from somewhere. Just hit me dead full on. I went bleep over this way, and the camera is there. And when I got up, well, actually, I was laying there, and the referee, who knew me, came over, and he looked down at me, and he said, "Damn, Baker, you got your bleep kicked, didn't you?" And he turned around and walked away. I'm not going to mention his name,
yeah,
but he has passed away, so I'll leave it at that.
sure.
Anyway, and I said, "Go away, I'm hurting." I got up, and every cable was pulled out of the camera and recorders, gone.
Oh my
completely.
gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
oh no.
So that was the best of the three experiences. Most of them I could roll away from, but that one I got completely
Just
blown over.
knocked over. I
And
got taken out of the knees one time. Like I was
Oh,
shooting
yeah.
I was shooting Randall Dumas, like just shooting football. And I remember it was like one of the I think it was like maybe Randall that was on offense, or it was Dumas that was on offense. And they basically cut right towards the sideline. And the Randall defender was like hot on the receiver's heels, and they went low, and I basically just kind of like, this is me, this is them. They're kind of like flying in, and I'm like, boom. And I went airborne, and I kind of landed like on my face, and then but I popped right back up, but I felt that the next morning. Like the athletic trainer for Dumas came over, Summer, and she's still there. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm going to feel that the next morning." Like,
Yeah, no, that's another reason to shoot up high.
yeah. I had one time where I was at Portales, and I was shooting WT Eastern New Mexico. This was the game where I got yelled at by a cop because like they were having a play on the other side of the field, and I just crossed like this little white line. I didn't enter in the field to play. Like I just did a shortcut, and Portales PD was like, "Do you have your press pass on you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like here it is." Like, "Yeah, next time don't do that. Otherwise, next time I catch you doing that, like you're going to be booked in jail." And I'm like, "What?" Like, and Kit Streef, like the SID at the time, and Kale were standing right next to me. They were like, they were in utter disbelief, just like me. And I was like, I don't know what I did wrong. Like,
Was this the old stadium or the new stadium?
this was the new stadium. This wasn't Blackwater Draw. Like Blackwater Draw, nobody cared. Like Blackwater Draw was.
No.
I loved Blackwater Draw. Like they shouldn't. Eastern New Mexico should have never left Blackwater Draw.
You know, when you stood up on top of the press box up there, you could see Muleshoe.
Yeah,
Because there was nothing in the way.
Nothing.
A few sand dunes, but you could see Muleshoe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that press box was huge. Like it was so spacious. I loved that press box.
Yeah, and it was pretty high up when you got up on top.
Yeah.
If you had vertigo, you didn't want to be up there because
No.
you looked down. It was like, whoa, way up there. But yeah, you could see for miles
Oh.
going back towards Texas from there.
Mhm.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I miss Blackwater Draw. And then when we went to go visit the new stadium, and like the media room was like this little room, like this little tiny room, and we were like, and Adam was really cool. He was a super nice guy as the SID at New Eastern, and we were like, Adam, what the heck's going on here? We can't work in here. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, and I'm like. And that's why we complain so much. I think it was like all of us as a collective, like we all complained to the WT athletic department. And I'm like, when you're building the new stadium, please don't have it be like Eastern New Mexico. Please. Like,
Well, everybody wants to have a stadium, on-campus stadium anymore, no matter what level you are. So,
Right.
and it's kind of ironic that both of those schools neither had a football stadium on campus as such, and met halfway between two towns to play games because they wanted to draw the crowds from both. But either was very successful,
Right.
in terms of that. A lot of
Right.
people from Clovis didn't really drive to Blackwater Draw, and a lot of people from Amarillo. I mean, some people from Amarillo, but going to WT, Kimbrough all the time. They didn't always do that.
Right.
So it made a difference. Because the high
Right.
school had their own fields.
Yeah. Like when I was at like WT, like the fullest I've ever seen WT, I've ever seen like Kimbrough. It was like they were playing Texas A&M Commerce, and that was during the Don Carthel years. And they filled up that stadium pretty well.
Yeah.
And it was like for a homecoming game. It was when they were really good. They had that really good run in like the late 2000s. Yeah.
Well, the wagon wheel game is the one they have the picture of where it's completely sold out, and it went to overtime or something, and then there's people all on the one green hill at the one end. Of course, the scoreboard used to be at the other end. There were people under it, which they never used to let people sit,
right,
or even be on the hill. But it was 22,000 maybe, something like that. It's a great picture. In the athletic department, they have a fishbowl shot of it. What do you call it? A fish island.
Yeah,
and
fish island.
It's unbelievable. I never thought I'd ever see that, because I can remember one time going to a game. Texas A&I or A&M Kingsville was at Kimbrough. Last game of the year, November, cold, rainy, maybe snowy, and I bet you there weren't 50 people in the stands. And it was a miserable night for college. And that stadium had nobody in it, and nobody wanted to be there.
No. There was like another one that was like that. So I can draw out like a really nice comparison. It was like, I think it was WT and Angelo State. And you'll get this, like, I think Ben Arbuckle was quarterbacking for the Bucks.
Oh my God.
And I know Ben Arbuckle moving up in the world, but like, I remember it was like cold and rainy, and I had to go down and shoot photos for the WT athletic department. And I remember I had to keep Kit Streef's camera in my jacket to keep it from getting soaked and ruining the camera. And I was like, Kit, here's all I got. Like, and he's like, it's good enough. Like, yeah.
I wish WT had done what the CISD did. After they gave the rights to the CISD, they took it over. But again, I like the WT campus stadium. I wish it were a little bigger originally, what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really build, the locker rooms are still not really what they should be for the home team. They still got to walk away from a different walk over. But anyway, I wish what they did at Kimbrough was just amazing. And it's pretty cool. I have to say that. I never thought it. One time when I worked at Channel 7, Stanley Marsh, owned the station, and somebody went to him one time and they said, hey, would you donate some money to help improve Buffalo Stadium and make it better? And he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, I'll loan you enough money, but if you'll dam it up and fill it full of water, that way we can have boat races inside it.
That was Stanley Marsh for you, though. Like, he was always thinking outside the box. Like,
how about that?
Yeah, he was a different cat too. I mean, like, he was the guy that came up with Cadillac Ranch. So yeah.
And he also came up with the yard sides around town.
Yep.
Little things. I wanted to put one in my house down where I lived at the previous time down in Bivens area, and my wife wouldn't let me. I got voted on that one. But one day I woke up. I got to tell you, and I lived on Bryan Street, 15th, and I was going to Julian Boulevard. And I was driving down. I got up and I drove down the street, and I was like, there's all these people in the middle of the road for. So I get down there, and sure enough, what do you call his crew? The Dynamite Crew or something like that. Anyway, whatever they were called. They were putting one in at the house down the corner from me. And I was mad because I wanted one put in. My wife wouldn't let me, but they were all out in the street, and they put those things in with rebar and put them in there. They're still around town, hanging on different places. I want to put I had a golf theme one in mind. Birdie Boy with the golf ball and everything.
Yeah.
I think somebody stole that idea. I think that's somewhere here in town.
Gosh.
But as I said, I got outvoted on that one.
Oh, no, it is what it is. So you've had so many, you probably have so many memories from, from your 4 decades plus in counting. What were some of the moments that like stuck out to you the most?
Well, I always heard about high school football in Texas. It's kind of like high school basketball in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in New Mexico, and New Mexico basically was more of a basketball state. In fact, ironically, when I was working I worked in Carlsbad, and of course, Hobbs was unbelievable. Their basketball programs were unreal. They had that run and gun style of basketball. You couldn't broadcast the game and look down because you'd miss 2 baskets because they played full court press. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Then when I went to Farmington, I met the Farmington coach, and it turned out he was an Indiana guy, 30 miles from where I had grown up.
Wow.
And the ironic about that is that he went back to Indiana after playing basketball at Western New Mexico. But back then, jobs were so hard to find, he couldn't find a basketball and a coaching and teaching job. He moved back to New Mexico, and he ended up winning state championships and being there. His name was Marv Sanders,
Okay.
and he lived at, and I think he's in the New Mexico Coaches Hall of Fame, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I came to Texas, and I got here in the middle of the '83 football season, and so I kind of had to learn everything. But the next year, '84 maybe, I think they used to play Saturday afternoon football games. They always played Saturday. They always had a Saturday afternoon game. Coaches don't want to do it now because they say it gives them one less day to prepare for the next week. And I go, that's baloney. Yeah. I think that's baloney. But anyway, Emerald Heim PD, go out to Dick Bivens Stadium, and it's 15,000 people. It's packed. It's like for the district championship, all this. It was unbelievable. And I stood there, and I was on the sidelines, and I went, well, I guess this is what they meant when they talked about high school football in Texas, because it was pretty cool. I'd never seen a high school football game with that many people in attendance. It was pretty neat. And it came down to the wire and all that, but it was great. I miss those Saturday afternoon games. If you talk to Eric Mims over at Paladura, he'd like to play them again, but the coaches won't.
No, the other, like, I think like Friday nights are too much of they're too much of a tradition by now. Like, yeah, I love Saturday afternoon games though, because you get plenty of, you get done by dusk. Like, you're all done.
1 o'clock game, you're done by 3.
Yeah,
you can go back in and get ready for the next week's game. I liked it because my youngest daughter was a trainer at Tascosa for 3 years, and they would always play Saturday afternoon games. And I didn't work on Saturdays, so we would go down and sit in the stands and be fans and watch her run up and down the field or on the field when somebody got hurt, like she knew what she was doing medically. Mm-hmm. And she sort of did, I guess. But anyway, I just miss Saturday afternoon games. They're great to go to. You just go down and sit in the stands. And it's usually warm and sunny, at least early in the year. They're fun to watch, but they don't come. They're not going to play them anymore. Only in the playoffs. They will do them in the playoffs. Obviously. Right. They have to. Yeah. So many teams make the playoffs now. You got to get them done.
Exactly. I think one of my like instances where I knew, like, yeah, this is definitely not Iowa anymore. Like, this is not a flatter version of Iowa. Is I think it was Dumas that really kind of got me turned on, and it was really the beginning of the Dunham years. Like, it wasn't Aaron that was there; it was Chad that was there, who's now at Amarillo High. Small world. But yeah, like those stands would fill up, like, especially when it came to, what was it? Dumas's first playoff game in quite some time. And they hosted Lubbock Cooper, who had Jarrett Dagey, and Jarrett Dagey ended up playing, like, he ended up going to like West Virginia, and then he ended up bouncing around and playing at several colleges he had like a 6-year college career. He bounced around a lot, but I think he plays Canadian football now.
He might be.
Yeah, gosh. But I remember, like that was like Demon Stadium was packed. Like, and I was like, ooh, yep, I'm definitely not in Iowa anymore. The only places like I remember where it would get pretty full was like in Lake City. When I was covering South Central Calhoun, like when they would have home playoff games, just about 7/8 of that crowd was SEC purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I told people, like I told Coach Case, Brian Case, who's won a couple state champion, like he's won a couple state championships. He's went to the Dome a few times. He's went to the Uni Dome a few times. And I told him, I was like, this is the closest thing I will get to Texas high school football. Like where everybody and their brothers there.
Yeah.
It's a Friday night ritual, like, and most, if not all of the time, SEC wins their games. And they hosted a lot of playoff games when I was covering them. So
that's good. Well, that's one thing I hate about what's going on now with, money taking over all of that is that Texas Tech, and I think SMU started a few years ago, playing on Friday night college games. And, I just think people have been in an uproar about it. Now Tech's apparently got a game scheduled on a Friday night.
Right.
And they're trying to figure out if they're going to be able to, mad about it being played on a Friday night when that's set aside for high school football in Texas. I mean, the only reason there's Thursday night games anymore in Texas is because of the lack of referees.
Right.
Otherwise, they would still be all just on Friday. There are regular season Thursday night games, a lot of 6-man games especially, because there just aren't enough referees, especially here in the Panhandle. I don't know what it is. Downstate, it's not probably that bad. There's still a larger population, but still. I'm not a big fan of college football games on Friday night. Of course, now with ESPN forking out the money, you got that MACtion. Hell, they play every night of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, they're always on TV.
Right. And I think what's even crazier is to add on to like how TV kind of messed up college football is all the conference realignment. I mean, you got Sacramento State, like that's in the MAC, and they will probably take part in MACtion. Like,
yeah.
Like if you're in Sacramento, California, are you really that hyped to go play like
Kent State?
Yeah, Western Michigan on a Tuesday night for just to get an ESPN TV slot? Like, I mean, you take what you get, but I don't know. Like,
one of these days there's going to be 64 teams, maybe in 4 conferences, maybe, and that's going to be it. And it may not even be part of the NCAA.
I think that too, because what's going to happen is you take maybe like the top 64, you take the top 82, and you put them all into like geographic conferences. Like they like either they break away from the NCAA or they broker a deal with the NCAA to form their own division. That's kind of the latter I can see most likely, where they broker a deal with the NCAA and they say, okay, well, we're just going to have like a premier division, kind of like English soccer, English football for our internationals out there. And then you have like your mid majors plus like the Missouri Valley Conference and what's another power conference? Maybe like the Southland, some other conferences kind of, or the Big Sky join that middle tier, and then that lower tier is kind of your
Conference USA.
Yeah, well, not Conference USA. They would probably be mid tier, but it would be like the Ivy League and the Pioneer League, which Drake and all of them are in, like the non-scholarships. They do a non-scholarship D1, and then they do a mid tier, and then they do a premier. And then you just can't cross over, even if it's for money games. Like
it's going to be weird because they already said last week that they're going to increase the basketball teams in the playoffs.
76, yeah.
Ugh,
yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know why, other than it's just like, well, let's just make more money and have more teams in and make it last longer. I don't understand the reasoning.
Right. Like, I thought it was fine when it was just like, it was 64 and you still had room for, the NIT to still get good teams.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, what the NCAA is doing now with March Madness is that they're going to kill off like the NIT, and they're going to kill off the CBI, and they're going to kill off like the college basketball crown, whatever the crap
whatever
that's
that,
called. Yeah, these these second and third tier tournaments, and just make it all about the NCAA tournament. Like that's where I can see it go.
Is the CBI, did they play that this year? I think that finally went away, didn't it? Or did they play that?
It might have went away. They got it replaced with like the college basketball crown.
Yeah, whatever that
It was
one
like
Tulsa.
Fox put it on, and
Yeah.
I mean, it got a few teams,
Is
but
it Vegas or somewhere? I don't remember. I was going, what is this tournament? I never heard of it. When it was on.
And now, like, I mean, but I remember going to the NIT used to be just about as much of an accomplishment it is going to the NCAAs.
I jokingly said one time they should do like they do Indiana high school basketball. You realize that every team is eligible for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The way they have it set up, I'm sure they still do it. They had it like this way when I was a kid, and even in middle age. But everybody starts. Doesn't matter what you do in your district or your league or whatever. Everybody's in the playoffs, and then you have a tournament, and you just play down, and eventually you get down to the Final Four, and everybody's eligible to play, and last man standing wins.
Yeah, Iowa does that too. Like Iowa. Everybody goes for Iowa, everybody goes to the playoffs. They start off in the district tournament. Right. And then if you get through district, you win the district championship, you go on to sub-state. And then if you win your sub-state final, you go on and you play at state. And it's a single elimination. Like if you lose, you're done. For South Dakota was interesting because South Dakota, they would do a SODAC 16, and for their biggest classification, which was, it was like class AA. They didn't have like a AAA or they just had AA, A, and B. And the B is really weird. It's South Dakota, but for class AA, they would take the top 16, and out of that division, you only had 20 teams. So so you do a SODAC 16, and if you win, you end up in the state tournament, and you play another 3 games.
Wow.
Yeah, you're given another 3 games. Like even if you lose all 3 games and you finish 8th place, well, you still get a little bit of a trophy saying, "Hey, I finished 8th."
In Indiana, they used to have, and they still have it. They have a sectional, they have a regional, they have a semi-state, and then they have the state tournament, and that's it. And by the time you get to the state tournament, you have Final Four. But to show you the opposite district, how it works in New Mexico, they have, when the regular season's over, they have district tournaments. If you're the district champion, you get a bye to the final games, and however many more teams are in the league, they play down to play you. And then when you are done with that, they seed teams. Like you can finish runner-up and still make the state tournament because they seed in every class. And then they have a coaches meeting, and they pick 1 through 16 in each class. And then you go from there. So it doesn't matter how you play. I mean, you could literally be last in your district, get lucky, win the district championship, and you qualify for the state tournament.
Wow. Like, yeah, you can finish dead last and you can catch fire and still end up at state. Wow.
Yeah. That's
crazy. I'm sure it doesn't happen very often, but
no, it doesn't. That's the odd person to happen, but it doesn't happen very often. But still, just the idea that you continue playing to do it. Why have a regular season? Just play games and then just play everybody at the end of the year.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah. Like you don't even need to have like leagues or conferences or districts. Like you play out a schedule, and then, you schedule who you can schedule, and then
it's like the NCAA, all the leagues having postseason tournaments. I mean, what good does it do to win a league championship if you can still lose in the postseason. Mm-hmm. I mean, before you get to the postseason,
like you can lose your conference and still win a natty. Like,
true.
Yeah.
Assuming you get a bid.
Assuming you do get a bid, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's
apparently
true.
everybody's going to get a bid now, 76 teams or whatever.
76, yeah. And I think they were playing with the idea of like having as many as 84, but
Yeah.
yeah, I thought 64 was good enough. And then when they did the first four, like when they started doing the first four, like a lot of those teams, like some of those teams that were in the first four ended up being in the final four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's that close. But beyond that, I mean, you can, at that rate, just have however many basketball teams there are, just have them play down.
Yeah.
Just set it up so it's a 4-week tournament. You can set up regional all the way along and be done. Just make it one and done.
Right.
And it is one and done anyway, but you can set it up to where however many 127 teams, whatever it is, you can put them all in.
Yeah. Yeah, and just put them all down.
Wouldn't take long.
No.
I mean, look how fast they go from what they have now to 16 teams. I mean, in a week or 10 days, it's over with, and you're down to the Final Four.
Yeah, yeah. Within 2 weeks, you're already down to a Final Four. I mean, that's how I feel with like Texas. Like when there's playoffs in Texas too. Like, cause it's like, well, get through your get through your bye district, get through your area, get through your regional quarterfinal, your regional semi, and by the time you're down to your regional final, like you're one of like 8 teams left.
Not very many.
Yeah. Like it whittles down really fast, and that's what
like
I love about Texas football playoffs. They're fun.
Yeah, unlike the baseball and softball where they all play best of 3 and it takes forever.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it's like just play one game. Like just make it more worth it. Like,
well, if you have nowadays with pitch counts and so forth, you got to be real careful. They have pitch counts in high school baseball. I'm pretty sure they have in softball.
Yeah,
I gathered.
Not so much as softball, but baseball definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I just got a text from Cal State. I'm going to be going over and doing Amarillo High spring footballs.
So Amarillo High is going to do some spring football. Okay.
I think he said the Sandy's the only ones doing spring football this year.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think any of the other city schools are doing it.
No, because I think what was it, if you engage in a spring game or you do spring practices, it cuts down like on
you lose a week.
You lose a week of practice. Yeah. And coaches want that week of practice.
Well, the deal is anymore, they have an athletic period, and it could be football practice.
Yeah.
If you just have athletics, you got an athletic period, and Emerald High does it during the regular season. They have their athletic period as first period. So at like 6:30, 6:45, they're on the football field. I live down the street from there, and they're on the field. And then at 7:30 or 7:45, regular classes begin.
Yep.
Doesn't take long. You can get a quick workout in.
Yeah, and then you because I've done work, with schools, and like they'll do the athletics first thing in the morning, and then they'll do like their athletic period in the afternoon, and that could be like done through like walkthroughs.
Yeah.
They could do a quick lift. Like it could be a real easy day compared to busting tail in the morning. It's built different. Like it's different. It's built different. Like I don't remember athletics periods. I mean, just PE, and that was it. But
no, it's PE. Yeah,
it was just PE. Yeah. But now, like, I think what's interesting now is like there's a rise of the clubs. Like I don't think it's hit Texas as like West Texas as bad as like maybe some other parts of the country. But like club sports is getting a lot of momentum. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, it's going to be the end of high school sports because the club sports are going to take over. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that's going to be the case. There will always be high school sports. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they overlap, but like in the Metroplex, that's a big deal with soccer. All the soccer kids don't play high school soccer. They play club all the time. Hey, excuse me, I'm going to say goodbye to my wife.
Okay.
All right, she's going to go get a Coke and come back.
Oh, sounds good.
Bye.
Get something refreshing. But You,
My
do you got
battery's
do you
running
got to
low.
plug in your laptop real
I gotta-
quick?
Yeah, hang on a second.
Oh, no
I thought I
worries.
had
You're good. I'll hold down the
I thought
fort
I had
for
it
you.
plugged. I thought I had it plugged in, but apparently I did not.
Oh,
I
that's
hope
okay.
that's it.
That's okay. No worries. That's okay.
You might want to plug in your PC. Hang on a second. I'm trying
Oh,
to figure
you're
out
good. No problem, Lee.
where everything goes.
Only football name that matters is Dick Butkus. What a legend his parents
Ah,
were. And
Dick
Deion Sanders.
Butkus.
Dick Butkus, yeah. Drew hopped on the chat and was like, "Yeah, Dick Butkus, that's an awesome name." That's definitely a football name.
He also was a good TV star.
Yeah, he was. He was a good TV star.
What was that? Mother Jugs. You remember that? You probably don't remember that.
I probably
He
don't.
did the movie. He did a movie called Mother Jugs and Speed.
What?
Raquel Welch was in it, along
Raquel
with
Welch was in it? Dang.
Yeah.
She was like the poster girl like of the what was the late 60s, early 70s?
Type in Mother Jugs and Speed and see what you get real quick.
Okay. All right. Mother Jugs and Speed. Okay. Mother Jugs and Speed. Oh, yeah. Okay.
See if my brain hasn't totally deteriorated.
No, your brain hasn't deteriorated, but yeah, Raquel Welch, man. Yeah, she was a bombshell back then.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She was a really pretty lady. I always liked her in there was like a one of those dinosaur movies that she was in. And it was like, I don't know what it's called. Maybe when dinosaurs ruled the earth.
10,000 BC.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wearing a loincloth.
Yep. Yeah. And that was definitely poster material for all the boys back then.
Oh,
So I've asked you about favorite moments. I've asked you about, we got to talk about golf courses. Were you able to golf this past weekend? Because Saturday was really nice.
Well, I'm missing a really nice day right now while we're talking.
Oh,
dadgummit. The winds. My wife's got a bunch of wind chimes, and they're all blowing like crazy. So I'm glad I'm not outside. I played yesterday.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
How'd you do?
And I work 3 days a week at a golf course. So
yeah.
Right,
See, chat. Like Lee's got it made. Like he went from TV broadcasting to working at a golf course, and he is an avid golfer. So
yeah. I'm not very good anymore. I got old, but other than that, yeah. No, it's there are a lot of great golf courses. They're great. The courses I work at, there's 4 city courses, and the 2 I work at are rated among the tops economically by the Dallas Morning News every year because they're in great quality shape and it's pretty inexpensive to play. You can play with a golf cart. You can play for $48.
That's not bad. Senior, that's really good.
And if you're a senior, you can play for $43. So it's pretty cheap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And I have a daughter, and the best part is I have a daughter that lives in Arizona. So in the winter, I'll go down there and scam all the golf courses, and all the snowbirds are down there. So it's hard to find tee times, but you go to there's a couple of Native American resorts. I got to use a proper language. Native American resorts that have like 36 hole golf courses on them. They're great to play all the time. Oh yeah, they're wonderful. Huh. They're always in great shape.
Okay. Like speaking of golf courses, what are your favorite ones? Like all together, like your all-time favorites?
Well, I've been there. Actually, this week, my favorite would probably be Pebble Beach.
Okay.
Or the old course, St. Andrews. I've never been there, but I've been to Pebble.
Okay.
Played it way long time ago. Ironically enough, they're playing at Trump Doral right now. It used to be just called Doral. He bought that course.
Oh yeah.
But I played that course a long time ago too. They call it the Blue Monster. It's a tough golf course.
Okay.
Really hard. Yeah. Well, one guy somebody was like 8 shots ahead, so must not be too hard for him. But yeah, there's a lot of you can golf your brains out in America. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're from the Midwest. You ever somebody came up with the idea to go to the sand hills of Nebraska in the middle of nowhere and build golf courses, and they're considered some of the best in the country. in through those sand hills. There's not many trees, but there's that weird grass and sand and dunes and all that.
Yeah.
And same thing out in Oregon. They got a place called Bandon Dunes. They must have 8 golf courses.
Oh my gosh.
And then you can go to Alabama, and you can start at the Alabama, I guess it'd be Tennessee border, and you can play. They got a thing called the Robert Trent Jones Trail, and you can start at North Alabama, and you can go all the way down the state periodically and play different courses and end up in Mobile. It's like,
oh dang! So it's almost like a circuit.
Yeah, you could go straight down if you wanted to spend how long it would take you to go to each course and play it every other day or whatever. You could play that whole entire, they call it the trail, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
A lot of stuff like that.
That is cool.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
That is different. Yeah.
But you can go to Arizona. God, golf courses. There's golf courses galore out there. I used to have an ex-sister-in-law who worked at the TPC of Scottsdale, which was great, where they play the Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
And I used to go down there in the winter, and she would give me summer rates. Well, in the summer, it's so bleeping hot. Nobody plays. You play at 6 a.m. and get done by 9 because it's so hot.
Right.
So they really cut the rates back. So I used to go down there in the wintertime. She'd give me the summer rates, which was about 2/3 off of what would normally be.
Dang.
I miss that. So she's not
that is
anymore.
nice. That's nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're golfing. Golf is big in Amarillo. In fact, we're getting ready to have our first ever. Well, actually, it's a second, but been a long time in between. A Corn Ferry Tour event coming here in 1 month.
Yeah. Yeah. It's coming up pretty fast.
Yeah, June. So
June.
I was out at the country club where they're going to play it the other day, and they're getting everything ready to go. They got a bunch of money, and they've been fixing it up, changed some tees, moving things around, moved things back, made a bunch of changes to some of the holes, and we'll be interested to see what somebody shoots on that course.
Right.
But
yeah, that would be interesting to see, like how pros would do that.
I think Ryan Palmer was in town the other day. He was here for a practice round, and they had his dad's memorial tournament, and he was playing a practice round. He's going to play in it, I think.
Okay. So, are we gonna see the hometown boy Ryan Palmer at the Corn Ferry, or is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said if he didn't get in a certain tournament that conflicts with it, he would come back and play in it.
Okay. Nice.
Because he turns 50 in September, so he's already got a tournament set up to be on the senior tour.
Oh,
but
he's already getting on the senior tour, man.
Yeah, he will be in after September, whatever.
Wow.
In October, yeah.
Daggum.
So,
yeah.
But he's gonna. He grew up at Tascosa, but they didn't really have La Paloma when he grew. He only played the old course, and then later they built the other course on the north side.
Right. Yeah,
it's it'll be fun to see how the people here react if they go out to the tournament. How much support it gets. It's not going to be on. I don't think it's going to be televised the first year. They're going to wait and see camera. You got to worry about camera angles and all that kind of stuff. But it should be a fun thing. I mean, you're going to see guys playing who've won PGA events who are not on the PGA Tour right now because of how it's set up. But they're going to be playing in Amarillo. So anybody watching, if you want to go see PGA guys, you're going to see them.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen very often. I know that for sure. What is it called? The AccuNet Open?
Yeah, the AccuNet Open presented by Amarillo National Bank, I think is how they're saying it. But, I still have some memorabilia from it. In fact, I have a sweatshirt. When they first started, it was called the Ben Hogan Tour. It's gone through a number of iterations. But the 1990 or 91, when they started, here's a real good trivia. The Amarillo was on the first stop.
Oh.
First one ever. But they only played one here because of some other ramifications that happened without going into detail. Mm-hmm. But ironically, you'll like this story. You ever watch the Golf Channel? There's a guy there named Brandel Chambly.
I haven't watched a lot of the Golf Channel, but...
Yeah, you haven't? Come on.
all right. I will admit this. I love playing golf. I love going and playing golf with friends and just, going out and just having a fun day. Just, hitting balls.
You know what we call that, right?
What's that?
whacking and jacking it.
Well, if that's the case, I like whacking it and jacking it. Golf with friends. But like, yeah, like I don't like watching golf on TV. I enjoy playing it. But yeah, so that's an admittance on my part, even though I keep up a little bit on golf. But
Well, anyway, the gentleman's name is Brandel Chambly.
Okay.
He's on the Golf Channel. You can Google his name right now. Anyway, he he, uh, he went to the University of Texas. He ironically, a guy here in Amarillo knew him. I think he might have even been a roommate with him. Played golf with him at the University of Texas, and he was in the first ever Nike event here in Amarillo.
Okay.
We at Channel 7 had just gotten this nice live truck, and we got cameras, Sony cameras, and we had wireless microphones. State of the art. This is 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And so through the gentleman here in Amarillo who knew Brandel Chambly, we were able to mic him up. He agreed to wear a mic for 3 holes, the first 3 holes at Amarillo Country Club.
Okay.
And the two of them would talk. And so I actually followed him down every shot, every hole, all the way through walking. And we had all these camera angles, and that's how we did. We did a walk and talk. And then after, and he agreed to do that. I always remember that. But yeah, he was nice enough to do it. So, but it was great because we were using this technology that we'd never used before. Wireless mics that this wired them up, put it on them. And we had a receiver on the top of the back of the camera, had all the audio set up, and it worked perfect for 3 holes. It was great.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was different.
Yeah, that is different. That doesn't, I don't know if that happens as much as we would think anymore. Like, hey, we're going to put the mic on the golfer and we're going to just follow the golfer for a few holes.
Yeah, nowadays everybody got into this what they call walk and talk. You'll go to a tournament and they'll have a reporter walking, and poor slug cameraman's walking backwards doing this, but they're coming at them and they're walking and talking as they do it. And now they do it on all tours. It's like, okay,
I got you. Okay,
they don't do it a lot, but they'll pick a player who will agree to do it, and he may tee off, and then he'll walk to his next shot, and during that period of time, they chit chat.
Yeah. I get. Yeah, it's
like
different.
the annoying. It's like the annoying interviewing of baseball managers in the middle of the game in the dugout.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that.
Or they like for baseball, like they'll put like the wireless mic on the player while they're out on the field.
Yeah.
I always thought that was different.
The player being mic'd up was interesting. I just don't get the in-game interviews with a manager who's trying to figure out what the hell he's going to do with the next pitching change. We're worried about something else. But I mean, like there were guys that they had wired up catching fly balls and doing stuff. And I go, well, that's pretty good concentration, actually.
Yeah.
If you could actually,
if he's able to multitask but like you've been probably playing like baseball for so long and it's such a high level that like, it's almost like second nature.
Well, yeah, it doesn't affect them at all. I got to figure the outfielders talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's just not like talking to somebody with your, an earpiece in while you're wondering what's going on.
Right.
So it's good. But it was neat when it started. Eventually it was, that sort of thing runs its course to do something else.
Yeah.
Heck, what was it in the NCAA basketball tournament? They were interviewing players at halftime.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I can understand coaches, but
I can't believe the coaches agreed to that, but they did.
Yeah, sports is changing. Like, yeah, I mean,
no. So you need to play golf more. You need to get out.
I do need to go out and play golf more. I will admit that I do need to. I used to have a bag full of golf clubs. I don't know what happened. It's still probably hiding in some dark, dingy place on the family farm. But yeah, well
they do
maybe once I get that sweet YouTube money coming in, I can go buy a pair. I can go buy a nice set of golf clubs and start golfing.
it's appropriate that you said they're on the farm because they call it pasture pool.
I thought that was
So,
more so croquet, but
well,
yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
That's the same thing. So you're learning all kinds of stuff
I
today.
know. I'm totally am. I know. Whenever I do hang out with you, I always come away learning like a little bit. Honky Kong, welcome in. Good to see you, man. But yeah, like along with talking golf, I know you're a big baseball fan. I love baseball.
Right.
I mean, I think we just love sports altogether, right?
We pretty much have to.
Yeah, we have to, just with the fields.
I
Yeah.
made a deal with my wife when we first got together. I said, here's the deal. I golf. And she said, I shop. So we both have something to do in life. In fact, in the other TV, she may have turned it off. QVC's on. I can hear it in the background.
QVC, man. Okay, all right. I do have a memory with QVC. So when QVC was a new thing in the 90s, they used to have a segment where they sold NFL stuff. Like they sold like jackets and whatnot. My mom bought me a jacket from QVC, an Indianapolis Colts jacket.
God bless mom.
Yeah, God bless mom. Because I saw it on QVC and I was like, hey, mom, I'd really like to have a new jacket for the school year. And she was like, okay. And I was into the Colts for some odd reason. I guess I just like John Harbaugh when he quarterbacked for the Colts.
Well, they still do it every once in a while, but on like Super Bowl Sunday, it's great. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, QVC will have all the winning teams material ready to sell,
ready to go. Oh
we got the rights, jackets, all that kind of stuff, hoodies, pullovers, sweatshirts, a little bit of everything.
I remember in the 90s they used to sell like the leather jackets, like, and it wasn't just the leather jackets that were really nice. It was that they sold leather hats to go with them, and they were like immaculate. Those things were well built, like.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't make coats like they used to with like those.
There used to be there. In fact, she kind of cut back from buying stuff, but there used to be a guy from FedEx who came to my house every day dropping stuff off from QVC. He was a former WT basketball player, and I see him at the golf course now and then. He goes, "Hey," I go, "I have seen." He goes, "I haven't seen you in a while." I said, "No, I think I said I tried to put a stop to all that QVC stuff be coming to my house and start laughing." But he played for Dayton. I think he told me the other day he's been there 28 years or something. I said, you've probably been in my house about 28 times, however many days in a week there are.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but I mean, hopefully the stuff was put to good use. I mean, that's all you can hope for.
Yeah. Thank God they don't sell plants that way. I got you can't see. Can you see this? Let me see if I can do this. Can you see this corner over here?
Yeah, I can see it. Oh yeah.
It's all plants.
All
everywhere.
The plants. Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at all the plants. It's springtime.
They're all indoors. I'm trying to get them to go outdoors, but then again, they had a frost warning the other night.
Oh, yeah. We got hit with a like what you would call a cold front, at least here in the Panhandle. But
anyway,
yeah.
So that's
anyway,
the QVC. It's all kinds of stuff. I want to go back to the golf thing. I just want to get a plug in for everybody watching to listening. If you live in the area, come on out and watch some of that Corn Ferry tour because tickets are inexpensive. And we're still trying to figure out how all the parking's going to go because it's limited parking space.
Right.
But we're trying to figure out how that's going to work out. But they say they might close off a street, park cars that way. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll support it because I think it's a 3-year deal or maybe a 5-year deal with the Corn Ferry tour.
Oh, that's cool.
And the club, whoever, all the money people who are involved. So let's hope it turns out to be a successful one, so that it'll stay here for a while.
Yeah.
When it originally started, when the Nike tour first started, it was like they would go to like Wichita, Midland, Amarillo, and then from Amarillo they would go to Boise. So they made like a tour. They started out on the East Coast. They just sort of matriculated to the Midwest, South, the Southwest, and then into the western part of the country. But it was a pretty cool tour. I mean, the whole point was to have guys prepare themselves to try to make the PGA Tour.
Sure,
and that's what they do.
Absolutely,
and that's what they do. And these guys are all playing for PGA Tour cards. The top 20, I think, will be. You'll see guys who will be on TV next year.
Okay.
On the big tour.
Oh, on the big one. Ooh.
Yeah. So that's part of the deal. You see guys, it's not really true relegation, but you'll see guys who have been on the tour down playing, and you'll see guys who will go up next year. They have some way of doing it.
Okay.
That relegation thing is weird.
Huh. That's
English,
cool.
Yeah. Soccer relegation is weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It is weird, but then again, it's so normal in Europe compared to America. Like we don't believe in relegation and promotion, but in Europe, it's all about it, you know?
I have to admit, when I started watching it and I figured it all out, sometimes the relegation battle is better than the battle for the championship.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like you're dying to stay up with the money involved.
Yeah. Because there's so much money in the Premier League or any of your top leagues, like Ligue 1 or Serie A. I think that's the one in Italy.
Serie A.
Yeah.
They all.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Because there's so much money into staying in the top flight. You know,
and you want to be in the top flight, then you want to be in the top of the top flight, so that you get in the Champions League and you make more money.
Yep,
that way. That's the thing. That's really weird. Like I saw where that Welsh team Wrexham, that's owned by those Hollywood
Ryan Reynolds guys, and all those guys.
They had gone up. I mean, they have you could have hometown soccer team, and they have weird leagues and how they have it set. Anyway, they'd gone up three or four in a row, and they were trying to get to the Premier League, and they missed by one. If they had scored a goal in their last game, they would have been in the playoffs to try to get to the Premier League.
Right.
How they had it set up, but they didn't make it. So
it's built on goal differential.
Start over again next year.
Yeah, they got a shot at it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see Wrexham in the top, in the Prem, but that would get a lot of interest going because of what Ryan Reynolds done, and then the documentary around Wrexham.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny about that now for the people who are soccer people, that team Tottenham Hotspur, they built a brand new 80,000 seat stadium. They've never been relegated in 47 years, and they're about to get relegated to the next level down and have this 80,000 seat stadium.
Oh,
it's a cool stadium. Have you ever seen the stadium? They play NFL games.
I've seen the stadium for the NFL games, and that place is immaculate.
Well, they have two different fields, right?
They do.
They have a grass field, and they can slide it out, and either over or under it, they put up a turf field for American football.
Right.
And they just interchange them. But for them to drop down to the next tier below would be humiliating.
Yeah.
And they're about there. So it's going to be funny to watch, see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Tottenham Hotspur. I think the stadium that's almost the same way as Tottenham is the new, it might be the new Real Madrid stadium, which does that. They have a huge underground complex, and they have they almost have miniature lighthouses, not lighthouses, but they have lights that emulate sunlight to keep the grass growing underground.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then they can change it out, and then they can change it out for an NFL field as well.
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
so
that's pretty cool.
I think and looking at it from the NFL's perspective, the NFL is what because the next time that the NFL expands, it's going to be expanding into Europe. It really
Aren't they going to play in Australia this year?
They are going to play in Australia. They're going back to Brazil, and they're playing in Australia this year.
I didn't know about the Brazil. They are going to Brazil?
I think they're going back to Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would,
Let me double check. I'm curious now.
the Australian thing. It'll take them a while to recover from that flight.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's going to be a whole different affair. Trying to get in
Yeah.
shape and get down there.
Oh, and just all the jet lag.
Oh yeah. Well, it's however many hours difference it is. 17 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What were
So
you typing in?
yeah. So three London games, one Paris game, one Munich game, one in Madrid, one in Rio de Janeiro, one in Mexico City, and one in Melbourne.
Oh my God, they're going to have that many international games this
Yeah.
year?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Jeez.
6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
9 international games.
I think
Wow.
Ryan Justice and I talked about this. I think this was a few weeks ago, and we were talking about international games, and I was like, I think it might get to the point where they might have like up to 10 or 12 international games.
Well, they're getting close.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them going to Japan. I could see them going to,
That's
South
the market that's the market they need to go to.
They do. And what's funny is that Japan has been playing, and Japan is so overlooked because Japan's been playing American football since 1920 when the NFL was founded.
I worked with a girl from Hawaii. Her brother played at Wyoming, and who was the Buffalo quarterback?
Yeah. Josh Allen.
Yeah, her brother played with Josh Allen. Anyway, he went to Japan and played. He went to Japan and played football.
Yeah,
out of
played
college.
in the X League, or was it?
I went. I didn't even know that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and they have a really cool culture. Like their college football culture is really neat. And then you can because professional football in Japan's a little different than how you would look at like the NFL or any of like even compared to the UFL or the arena leagues, or even compared to like Mexico or Europe. Europe does it more like soccer, but Japan, it's based on the companies. These companies sponsor these teams
Right.
because Japan is so company based.
Yeah.
So they're all sponsored by companies. So like Sony could sponsor a team, and the one I always liked for the longest time was the Kojima Deers.
The what?
The Kojima Deers. Yeah, I think they're called the Kojima Antlers now, but yeah, the Deers. And I was like, that's such a cool name. But yeah, like, it's all company based, and then like it's kind of like if you play for the team, because you can only allow so many internationals to play or so many Americans to play. But you're signing up to play for you're signing up to work for the company rather than getting signed to and compared to a sports organization. Yeah.
Well, NPB, the baseball, has the same thing. They have limited international play. They don't limit it just to Americans. It's just limited to international players. I watched Roberto Osuna pitch last night or night before. He got kicked out of the big leagues.
Yeah. Same thing with Trevor Bauer a few years ago. Yeah.
And Bauer played on the Dene Bay Stars. They won the Japan series 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
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 And so they don't mind who they sign in Japan, and those guys make millions of dollars. I was watching a game one night and I saw Leandro Cedeno, former Emerald Sod Poodle.
Oh yeah.
He played 2 years there. He was making $1 million a year there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then there was another guy who played for the Sod Poodles. In fact, he played in the big leagues for a number of teams. He was playing for one of the teams. Name escapes me right now, but I go, wow. So guy, it's a long ways from Amarillo to Hiroshima to play for the Carp.
Oh yeah, the Carp.
The Carp.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then they got the Ham Fighters. They got. I mean, I love the names. Like they have the Oryx Buffaloes. I mean, of course, everybody knows about the Yamamori Giants, the Hanshin Tigers. There's the Oryx Buffaloes. There's the Nippon Ham Fighters. There's the Rakuten Hawks. No, that's SoftBank. That's SoftBank.
No, yeah.
SoftBank Hawks, Rakuten Eagles, and then they have then they have the Dragons and
you were talking about company sponsors. I think Rakuten is like one of the company. They're like a Amazon, aren't they? They're like a order stuff through the mail through a internet or whatever. You can buy house goods and stuff from them, something like that.
Yeah,
and they're all, and one of the, I don't know which one it is. One of them's owned by a railway company.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and I don't know which. I can't remember. I can't keep them all straight. But I was going a railway company. Yeah, but they have a lot of trains over there.
They do. I mean, it's the home of the bullet train after all.
Yeah. Gonna go 400 mile an hour. Hope it doesn't fly off the rails.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, yeah. How cool would that be if we actually had bullet trains? But the problem is people kind of underestimate how big America is compared to other countries too. I mean, like look at Texas for example. Like, I mean, people are like, "Oh, Houston's not that far from you." I'm like, "Are you serious? That's a 10-hour drive." Like,
yeah. I remember talking about golf course. I remember talking to a lady who worked at the golf course. Her husband was the pro there. Their son was a really good high school golfer, college golfer, played in the Masters from Amarillo. Anyway, she told me about how when they had like a district tournament or whatever, she took the train from Amarillo to Wichita Falls to watch her son play golf. Because trains ran everywhere.
Right. I mean, America was built on the railroad.
When I was a kid, for the first 2 years I was in Little League, I was 9 and 10 years old, that we took a train to Chicago and it would stop through every town in Indiana and pick up Little Leaguers in our uniforms. We'd go to either a Cubs or a White Sox game, day game, and it would turn around and go back the opposite way and drop everybody off, and everybody got done.
Nice.
Did that. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it'd be like a Little League day for like the Cubs or the Sox. That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
that's cool. So Iowa, before the 60s, used to have a rail system called the Interurban. And the Interurban ran from Des Moines all the way up to Fort Dodge, which is, the big town that was close to my hometown. And they would stop at every little place and every small town and go pick people up. And there was a spur that would take people over to, there was a spur over by Lehigh, which is a smaller town, probably about 6 miles to the north of me. And like they had a spur for that one. And like there would be, like, I've met people who would hop on that Interurban and take it from Fort Dodge down to Des Moines and go to school in Des Moines and then hop right back on it and get back home to Fort Dodge.
Yeah. That's how people. Yeah. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to travel like that back then. That was what the people did. But, now we got so used to cars.
Yep. We're a car society now, baby.
Hey, the Cubs beat the Diamondbacks 8-4.
Okay.
Cubs are unbeaten at home this year. Woohoo!
Ooh, unbeaten at Wrigley. Hey, it's friendly confines are living up to the name.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, we'll see.
If they can win 81 games at home, they might win the pennant.
At that rate. Yeah.
They'd only have to win 20 on the road out of 81.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either, but yeah. The Cubs have a halfway decent team. I mean, could they get past the Dodgers? Probably not.
I don't know. You see the Atlanta Braves?
I have not seen the Braves.
Google the national standings. Look at the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, NL standings.
That'll wake you up. You'll go, whoa.
Oh yeah, they're 24-10. Yeah, they got the best mark in baseball.
Yeah.
And right behind them is the Dodgers, and then the Cubs are 21-12. Okay.
Who knew
but like
Braves?
the Mets are terrible though.
Oh yeah, we don't have TBS to show the Braves every day with all those guys that used to be on there. So you don't really know.
Gosh.
I mean, in the old days, you'd know.
Yeah.
They
And
were
that's
gone.
how like Chipper Jones and
Oh,
Chipper Jones, Andrew Justice, is that David Justice,
David Justice,
David Justice, Greg Maddox, John Smoltz, Tom
Andrew
Glavine, all those guys were superstars because of TBS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Braves, did you have you seen Drew Jones, Andrew Jones' son, play yet?
I have not. I'd like to. I think it's going to be a matter of time before he gets called up, though. At least to Reno.
Well, he's a Double A.
Yeah, yeah,
He
probably
hit for
need to
the
go see him.
cycle. He hit for the cycle on this road trip.
He did. Yeah.
It was something his dad never did that in the big leagues.
No,
That's pretty wild.
that is wild. I mean, but yeah, I'm
don't
excited
know.
to see how he does for the D-backs once he gets called up.
I don't know. I don't know how soon he'll get called up because he still doesn't have a very good batting average, but he's getting better at hitting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a video of him on ESPN. He showed it the other night. He climbed a wall and made a great catch. It looked like Spider-Man going up a wall.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. Wasn't his
They get
dad
back-
kind of like that too?
what's that?
Wasn't his dad kind of like
Oh,
that too?
oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Andrew Jones, yeah. He was like, I don't know how many times he won Gold Gloves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
I'm waiting to see if his dad comes to Amarillo to see him play. I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah. Well, I bet you Lee
He's going-
Passmore will be all over that one.
Well, he's going into Hall of Fame.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Did you see that Randy Johnson got his number retired by the Mariners?
Yeah, same number as Ichiro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of weird how they all it's the same number.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I mean,
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen with that number.
no. But
In fact, Ichiro had to. There was a story that he said he wrote a letter asking if he could wear that number.
mhm.
He wrote Randy Johnson a letter to see if he would let him wear that number because Johnson had worn it when he was in Seattle all those good seasons.
Yeah.
And before leaving, Johnson said, "Yeah, go ahead," not knowing what would happen in the future, obviously.
Right. Right. Well, Randy Johnson, like from the stories I've heard about him, he's a pretty stand-up guy. Like that's what I've heard about him. He's
Hey, when he was here, he didn't talk much about baseball. He talks about video, being a camera person, and he didn't really follow that much. He said only when the Diamondbacks ask him to go down and talk to the players, he'll do it. But he doesn't like hang around and do any of that kind of stuff. But he's some sort of ambassador, but he doesn't do much with the players.
right.
'Cause
Right.
When he came here, he signed all kinds of baseballs and stuff.
Oh
that they gave him
man.
for the people working for the Saudis.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I loved
they were all-
Randy. I loved Randy Johnson when I was a kid. Like my favorite part was when he smoked the bird. That bird was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But
What's the video of John Kruk in the All-Star game not wanting to face him and just stood up there and didn't even do anything. He just took 3 pitches and went back and sat down or whatever he did. Something stupid.
yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, well, but Randy Johnson was so imposing when he was on the mound. But
Oh gosh.
yeah, and he had
And
that
it's hard to
nasty sidearm.
And it's hard to believe he got traded by Montreal. They didn't think he was going to ever pan out to be anything when
Right.
he first started because he was so wild and
Yeah,
ungainly and not much control.
right.
Not unlike Nolan Ryan with the Mets, who got rid of him after 2-3 seasons because they didn't think he was going to ever get to where they thought he should be.
Mhm. Yeah.
That was a mistake.
That was definitely a mistake. And then, gosh, I remember like when it was around the time Nolan Ryan was retiring. When he was with the Rangers, it was the tail end of his career. Is after he beat up Robin Ventura, which I mean, Robin Ventura should never like charge the mound to begin with. But that's another story for another day. But like. I remember in the early 90s when I was a kid, like they were like big into Nolan Ryan because of the career he had and all the career strikeouts. And there was so much Nolan Express memorabilia that was that was being sold, and I thought what was interesting was just how many teams Ryan was with throughout his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he was well known for being with the Mets and being with the Astros and then finishing his career with the Rangers, but he was like with the Angels, and then he bounced around a lot of different teams.
Well, he pitched forever. I mean,
Yeah.
what, 25 years,
25 years,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever it was. I used to have a poster at work. Someone had put I got it in the mail from some promo from something, but it had every one of it had a photostatic copy, a reprint. Every one was all of his book cards.
Oh,
One card from every year.
That's cool.
It was a pretty cool poster.
Yeah, that does sound like a cool poster. There was one cool poster
I just left it in the.
There was
one
cool.
It in the
yeah.
I left it in the sports office.
Gosh, they don't make posters like they used to for sports.
No.
The one I really loved, and this was back when I was a kid, was there was a poster of Bob Greasy and Dan Marino side by side,
Really?
and that was a cool poster.
Wow.
Yeah, I had that, and I was like, oh, that's such a cool deal, because Dan Marino was like my favorite player when I was a kid. Like, and then when I realized that Dan would never have a team that can help him win a Super Bowl, I went over to John Elway. You know. Yeah, plus my great aunt loved John Elway too.
One of the coolest posters. You ever seen the one with George Gervin, the Iceman?
Oh, I've not.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really cool poster. Basketball poster. Yeah. Okay. The Iceman. Yeah. Google George Gervin, the Iceman poster. It is unbelievable. It was a big deal back then. Okay. George Gervin could score. God, okay. That's Gervin. Back when yeah. There were a lot of good basketball players. Dr. J, George.
Dr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I mean, George Gervin won NBA scoring titles. He won NBA and the ABA.
Yeah, I mean, the ABA. Yeah, because he was in the ABA and the NBA. Yeah, he was good.
I mean, he was that good.
Then you had like Moses Malone and Malone, Oscar Robinson. Like, that's who Michael Jordan idolized growing up, was Oscar Robinson. That's who he thinks he's the best.
Again, I'm going to show my age here, but I saw Oscar Robertson play high school basketball when I was not very old.
Wow.
I was a kid. I was probably 10. Yeah. He had played for an all-black school in Indianapolis called Crispus Attucks. Okay. And they won like 2 or 3 state basketball championships in a row.
Wow.
And, Indiana basketball was so big, they would have outdoor summer tournaments. And again, companies would sponsor a team. You'd go around on weekends and you would play at different places, and you would play outdoor summer basketball. Okay. And one summer, Oscar and 2 or 3 of his teammates, when they got out, it was between high school and college. You couldn't do it when you were in college, but you couldn't do it in high school, but you could do it that one summer. So it would always change the players. But one summer, he and 2 or 3 of his teammates had a team, and they came to my hometown, and man, everybody went to the ballpark, the park where it was down by the river, and watched Oscar play basketball. It was pretty cool.
Wow. That is pretty cool.
The Big O.
Yeah. When I was growing up, the Iowa State men's basketball team used to tour in the summer. Oh. And they play like these local pickup games, and they would play more like the Harlem Globetrotters rather than the Iowa State Cyclones. They would goof off because they know they're playing against like the local Kiwanis club, or they're going to play against the local Lions club or whatever. But like, I remember like Fred Hoiberg being a part of those tours, and
really,
Fred Hoiberg. That's the only one that really stands out, but like that lasted for a while, because I remember like Curtis Stinson and all those guys, they used to do that too, but and Marcus Pfizer, all of them.
Oh wow.
But I remember like, what was it? It was Hurl Beecham, who he was such a deadly shot from behind the arc, and then of course Fred Hoiberg, the mayor. You had Lauren Mayer, like he was the big postman. Julius Mikalik, who was like the Euro guy, the token Euro guy, and for Johnny Orr / Tim Floyd.
Johnny Orr, man.
Yeah,
Man, that's going back in time. Johnny Orr, man.
Johnny Orr, yeah. Um, yeah, and early Tim Floyd. I'm trying to think of who else. Yeah, those are the only ones I really remember. Because I
There's
remember
more.
because they showed up at Iowa Central when I was like a little kid, and I
There,
remember going up and like Mika League's playing, and I go up and I tug on his like jersey, and I'm like, "Can you take a picture with me?" And like he
really,
did that during the game, like it was crazy.
uh, the token euro. There's more than token euros on teams now.
I know, no kidding. Yeah, but this was like mid '90s, like
That's pretty cool.
it was pretty cool. I wish Iowa would do that because like I kept track of Iowa because like I remember guys like Jess Settles and Andre Woolridge and
Wow.
gosh, even before them BJ Armstrong played for Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like I wish Iowa did those trips too, but like Iowa State did more. Like Iowa State is kind of crazy because Iowa's got the brand recognition, but Iowa State I think works harder and they go on the road. Like I was able to meet like TJ Ozenberger. Or gosh, I can't remember. I just met TJ and I remember running into him and Jamie Pollard and Matt Campbell. He was a little more elusive, but they would show up to these banquets and they were free for you to go to.
Wow.
But the only sucky part was it was during the day, so everybody worked. And one time I went and covered the event because it was at Briggs Woods outside of, and Briggs Woods had this really cool little golf course, really nice clubhouse. And the wife's coming back home with the refreshments, huh?
I'm sorry. My wife just walked in and I was talking to her.
Yeah, that's
Did you hear the
okay.
banging? Did you hear that? She banged
Yeah.
the ice.
I heard that. Yeah.
We went and got ice. So we have
Oh,
fresh ice
okay.
in the water still.
Nice.
We
Hey,
have to have,
water still's great.
we can't make ice with Amarillo water because you don't want to drink Lake Meredith.
No, no, no.
It already ruins your water heaters
Yeah, it
and your
does. And
pipes.
your
So,
water softeners. Oh man, yeah.
oh yeah,
True that.
you got to have You got to have filters on everything.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
What's pretty interesting. Don't you think Iowa State always felt like the stepchild in the state of Iowa?
They were in a way, but like I know they worked harder than Iowa. Like
Well, yeah, no,
but they would
because
but they would go to Briggs Woods, like for example, and Briggs Woods like had this really cool like conference center. And they would have like you'd meet the cheerleaders, you can meet Cy, you can meet like all like Jamie Pollard and TJ and at the time Coach Campbell and they were it was cool. Like I enjoyed it. Like and they gave away posters and magnets and I mean it was neat. Like and I remember just people showing up in their Iowa State gear and bringing their kids and just having a heck of a time. Yeah.
you always think of it that way. Ironically, they were in the same state but in different conferences all those years.
Yeah.
Made a big difference for your fan base, who your fan base was, or where they came from. You always would interpret Iowa State being more of a rural school, and
Yeah.
Iowa being the white collar school, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is that a right?
So like Iowa State is like the ag school.
Yeah.
Although anybody who's anybody like knows that the journalism program at Iowa State's really good.
That's good.
The Iowa journalism program's really good as well. But when you look at like it hasn't changed. Like if you were growing up, you would go to Iowa State if you wanted to go be a farmer or get into agriculture. If you wanted to go be a doctor, or go into pharmaceutical, you go to Iowa or U of I. If you wanted to go be a teacher, that's Northern Iowa. Or if you want to be a lawyer, you go to Drake.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty well. That covers the state.
Yeah.
So was the Northern Iowa Teacher College? Is that what it started out
Yeah, you
as?
start
Like
off as a
West Texas?
teacher's college. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
was West Texas A&M, West Texas State Teachers College. That's what it was. WTS when it first started. Kind of like Indiana State. Indiana State was a teachers college. If you wanted to be a teacher, you went to Indiana State or Ball State.
Oh.
If you wanted to be an ag or like that sort of thing, you went to Purdue Technology. And if you wanted to be a white collar person, lawyer, banker, doctor, you went to IU.
Okay.
That's how kind of how it spread out.
Okay. Nice.
That kind of. So you always get those interpretations from each of the schools. Of course, they all expand and have different subject matter now. A lot of it, IT and technology, but still,
right.
You're going to appeal to some people for certain reasons.
Exactly. Like, I mean, even if you look at West Texas A&M, like West Texas A&M, like has this robust agricultural part of the college, part of the university.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their ag college is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And then there's also then like, because Texas Tech wanted to bring in a veterinary school, like Texas A&M's like, okay, here you go, have a vet school now. Like, and then
weren't happy about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they weren't too happy about it. Yeah,
they weren't happy about it. They tried to get it stopped, actually.
Really?
But the legislature went ahead and approved it.
Oh, huh.
Yeah. They tried to put the jinx on it so they couldn't have it, but they couldn't get it stopped. Once that kind of stuff starts going, it pretty much gonna, the Aggies, they got the biggest school of that sort of thing in the state. They didn't want to lose it.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like at the time, A&M had the only vet school in the state, and then Texas Tech wanted to have one, and then A&M's like, no, like, so it's like a game of one-upsmanship.
Well, Texas A&M one time dropped their journalism school. They dropped it entirely.
Yeah.
And now they've brought it. I believe I saw a story where they recently decided to bring it back again. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Yeah.
Kind of what the deal is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like my wife retired. She worked for a scholars program at West Texas A&M called the McNair Scholars Program.
Mm-hmm.
So she did that. And I got all kinds of. I'm looking to see what we're doing here in the house. You want a hand?
No, Daddy, you just stay right where you are.
Did you hear that?
I heard that. That was funny. Before we wrap up, and I'll let you get to your International Sports Day. What is like for anybody that's in kind of the realm of sports ball? Anybody that's in sports journalism or is wanting to go into sports journalism, particularly the broadcasting side, what's some words of advice that you can give them?
Well, I would say passion. You gotta have passion. You just gotta go in and give it all you got all the time, especially when you're first starting out. Never turn down any kind of assignment. Don't complain and moan because you maybe work extra or there's games on the weekends. The chair I'm sitting in 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little more than that, was a Thanksgiving day, and the Canadian football team was playing in Plainview, and I had my Thanksgiving meal, and I got up and I left to go to cover the football game. That didn't go over very well. Did it, dear? No. So, things like that happen, not very often, but they do. So, if you want to be, obviously if you're a sports person, you can take your passion and turn it into your profession.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the best thing I could say. And, do as much as you can always and give it all you got and, never stop learning. And
right.
when you work, because in most places, if you're going to be a television broadcaster, you're going to work in a small market to start with, maybe 2 people. So the person you work with, you're going to have a good working relationship with, because you're going to be every time I went to, I'd have new people. We were in basically what we called the sports closet. That was our office. Enough room for 2 people, a couple of TVs on a wall, and an editing system at the end. And that was about it. So, you just have to want to do it and give it all you got all the time. It's a pretty much a, and the other thing is it's a lousy timing frame if you're a family man, because you basically work 2 to 11.
Yeah.
And that's not conducive for family life.
No.
That's why a lot of guys get into news. You'll see a lot of sports guys get into news where they can, maybe work a different kind of shift and hours. But yeah, mostly sports is 2 to 11. And especially if you're an anchor, you're not getting home till after 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
Nowadays, and of course, nowadays when you get off air, you got to do X, you've got to do Facebook, you've got to put stuff here, there, everywhere. There's all kinds of different things that you do that you never used to. It used to be when 10 o'clock news was over, you could walk out the door and go down and have a beer on your way home. You can't do that anymore.
No, there's so much follow-up stuff, and and then there's like podcasts, like podcasting.
Hey, speaking of that, I'll show you this.
Okay.
I don't want to plug another sport. I'm going to plug another podcast while I'm on your podcast. Sure. This is called Sports, sportz.usa.com. That is the logo.
Okay.
And that is okay. That's backwards, I'm sure. But
it came out great. Yep.
Okay. And it's what we do on Tuesdays. So if you ever get a chance, look that one up, because when the gentleman usually edits it and then puts it up on YouTube or Facebook or wherever. Right. But that's another one. So you get it, and they're all Texas guys. So that's pretty much what it is. But last week he had on he had a guy who does Telemundo soccer and is going to broadcast some World Cup games and that sort of thing. A guy he worked with at New Mexico State when he was in the athletic department. So he's trying to, and then that was 2 weeks ago. Last week he had on a gentleman, last name Faison, Faison, but he'd been in athletic departments at like he was at North Dakota when they had to change from the Fighting Sioux, North Dakota State. Which one was it?
Or it's UND. So yeah, it would be North Dakota.
They went from the Fighting Sioux to the Fighting Hawks or whatever they are now.
Yep.
And then, but he was in athletic departments at like Maine, New Mexico State, Louisville. Been around a long time. So he has guests like that, people we know. And so it's an interesting podcast to hear people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, I appreciate you, making time and, hanging out with me even through the technical difficulties. So yeah, that's an adventure.
You did good getting it back together again.
Oh yeah. Well, you just got to improvise.
Did you just have to flip a button? Did you just forget to hit a button on the microphone?
I think so. That's what I did. Is I went through all of my settings and made sure my settings were okay. So we're good.
Well, I get to go now that this is over, I get to go to my daily 30-40 minute walk and smoke a cigar.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go through the sign off protocol real quick. So,
all right,
this has been the Unfiltered Podcast, Season 2, Episode 7 with Lee Baker. I know Lee's definitely gonna come back in the future, so stay tuned for those updates. Next week I'll have Pandatron. He was just in chat not too long ago. He's like a YouTuber / he's in the comedy podcasting sphere. That should be really interesting. He's into a lot of stuff that I'm into, so that'll be an interesting conversation for next Sunday. And then I think, let's see, who else do I got for the rest of the way? Let's see. I got John West. He's an old friend of mine. He's a professional wrestler. He's going to come on the 17th, and then one that's going to be in the far future, not really the far future, but the near future, is going to be Lance Leinert himself is going to be on the 14th.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. I'm playing all the greatest hits. So yeah.
Hey, by the way, before you leave, also I wanted to point out this Colt 45s hat. I saw Dwight Yoakam wearing this in a country music video one time, so I went out and got me one.
Nice. Yeah, that's
if anybody's interested. They're hard to find now.
They're tough to find, but yeah, like a Colt 45's hat. That was so cool. Before they became the Astros, and they played basically in a frying pan of a ballpark.
Oh my God, mosquito heaven.
Yeah. But anywho, we're gonna sign off. Y'all have a good rest of the good beginning of the week since it's a Sunday. Lee, you do the same.
Thank you.
Play,
Enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, you bet. It was awesome to have you on. I love chit chatting with you for 2 hours. Especially when we go on road trips, like before the football season starts. So, but yeah, until next time, y'all, have yourselves a good one, and we will see y'all very, very soon.